Hey, what's up guys? It's Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and I'm bringing you guys another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most prominent and talented individuals in the game. And today I'm sitting with another talented individual in the game, Emmanuel Mogale.
Yes.
How's it?
I'm good, brother.
I'm good. I know you're also known as Prophetic Forex, Prophetic Forex out here in these streets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely. Where does the name Prophetic Forex come from?
Okay. So when it came to the names, right, when I started my trading school, it was actually firstly Royal Wealth Capital. And it was a partnership between three guys, but I had started it. Then it did not go well. It did not end well.
Yeah.
So then there's one time where I was just praying, of course, just asking God for direction after that whole incident. And it actually goes way back to when I had started trading, you know, how I got into trading. When I was about 16, yes, I have a calling. I wanted to be a pastor, but I didn't want to be that pastor where they try to manipulate the Bible to get money, right? So I was like, I just hate this because it just makes people very greedy, that even when they have to preach the scriptures or tithes or anything, they grill the people so they can fund their own lifestyles.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing, I ended up praying, said, Lord, give me something that I can do to become, so that when I start preaching, I'm not dependent on the people of God. When I'm preaching, I have my own stuff and I can preach it without any delay or anything sort of that. So when I was praying, you know, back then when we would read the Bible, I'm not sure if many people do this, you just open it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just open it, any verse or any chapter. So when I would open, it went to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 1. Says, invest in foreign trade, in one of these days you will make a profit. So I would search foreign trade. When I would search it, I think that was about 2017, those times Jason Noahs were getting in. So yeah, people were talking a bit. So foreign trade, okay. And it showed me different brokers when I searched that. I was like, okay. Then there was a guy at church, he was trading and he was a singer. And then I went to him and said, man, I'm interested in this thing. They said, okay, come along, because I've been quite active in church. I've been a youth leader, so yeah. So he had quite known me and favored me. So through that, he was like, okay, come through, I will teach you. So he brought me to his house in Zambezi, and I would remember he would put like piles of money on the table.
Okay.
He said, boy, get used to it. But boy, get used to it. This is trading, and then he would teach me from A to Z what is trading, anything.
But wait, I want to understand something. Did you ever find out what the purpose was it for him to put out money on the table?
So he would say, boy, get used to seeing money.
Okay.
So he would kind of really teach me not to be shocked by the time I start making my own profits.
All right.
And this goes to a lot of traders, and I've said it to many of my people. So most traders, right, because we don't have a background of wealth and money, we come from poor backgrounds. By the time you touch money, your whole DNA is shocked. I mean, you're touching money that even your ancestral lineage, even your mother and father has never touched. So you don't have the right mindset to kind of manage it. So therefore you jump into misusing it, and just later on you discover that you are now, this is where I want to start building this way, and already now the opportunities of life has already went away. So you'd kind of say it like that in a way and say, get used to seeing money. So he was training me based on, I'm gonna start making money. So get used to touching money, seeing this amount of money, cash. So that's what he was training for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, sorry to interrupt, but I was just like very curious about that, because essentially you see a lot of guys flashing money or whatnot, but I just wanted to know like the particular reason of, because I know everyone has their own reasons as to you know why you need to see it. You know, people have their different views and perceptions on that. Yeah, but like, sorry, continue. So after that guy taught you.
Yeah. So after he had taught me, things went bad for them as a company. They were doing like investments, right?
Oh.
So basically there were two guys in there. One of them was my cousin's sister, and the other guy who was training me, he was just an acquaintance. So as he was training me, basically there was one time overnight, I think we're trading AUD USD, and I didn't know of news trading or anything like that. So boy, this is us analyzing, and back then we're trading like patterns, flags, you know, all of this, triangles. So there was a triangle pattern, it was breaking out, and say, okay, boy, do you see that it's gonna sell? So he made that trading decision, and I said, yes, it's gonna sell. So he entered 5 lots, go, 3 of them. And when we just woke up around 6 a.m., it had hit profit of 1 million. I can remember calling my mother and say, yo, I just made 1 million, but it's not mine. And my mother told the whole family, yo, my boy made 1 million. And I was 18 by then, right? 2017, I was around about 18. Okay, so she told the whole family, my son has made 1 million. But no, it's not mine. Then what had happened during the day, as we're just chilling, playing PlayStation, the other partner goes in on USD ZAR, 10 lots, 3 trades. And
so 30 lots total.
Yeah, and it blew the whole amount of money.
Wait. So where did the account start from then?
So it was on 200K.
200K.
Yeah, and we had shifted it.
5 lots.
Yeah.
5 lots.
Yeah,
So
and it was on those
lots.
days where they would give you XM, you know, 50% bonus. So they had that 50% bonus.
Yeah.
So in total he had an equity of about 400,000. So he was able to actually take it to that amount.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
So got to the million mark, and then
Yeah.
at the million mark.
Yeah, we're so happy.
Yeah.
It was like, boy, I'm gonna buy you clothes. We're gonna go to Santin. Hey, we're gonna be wearing suits. And I was supposed to be like the junior trader in their company. I was supposed to actually be on the school side to teach people how to trade. So I was so excited. I'm 18 and I'm like, I've seen Jason Noah, I've seen all these guys. I want to get to be at that level. I was so excited. I was, you know, there were nice cars. I was driving already. I was like, oh, yeah, we've arrived. And everything started going down as my cousin sister went in, 10 lots, USD ZAR.
Yeah.
And when they were actually sharing the account. So when he opened the phone, I saw red.
Yeah.
And I just saw his face change. Hey, what are you doing, man? That one said, don't worry. I know it's good. But like, bruh, this is almost 50% drawdown that we're in. So after that, I'm not sure what happened, but things started going down.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, boy, you have to go back home. We'll call you again. So I was convinced that I'm now going to be staying with him, right? And yeah, we're just having, it was almost like a big brother that I've never had. I was convinced, now I have to go back home. And I didn't have the hang of trading, so I was starting now to trying to trade and everything like that. So that's where the 30 bonus of XM comes in. I try my luck. I make some money. I'm happy. I withdraw. I try the very same thing. Blow it all. So through that, that's when I actually started trading 2017, then went on to 2018, now trading. You know, back then you would make like $30, $40, $50, and you're like, oh, this is money. So I was in Matric 2018, and I was making that kind of money, $50, $100, and I was so excited. Everybody knew me as this guy that trades. Even up to today, they knew me as this guy that trades. But I would also preach during assembly, so they'd be like, Pastor, and now you trade. So I was like highly so much respected for that.
Okay.
And then after that gap year, I took a gap year. I was like, I'm gonna be trading. I'm not going anywhere to study. And I saw flames that year.
Okay.
I saw flames, but as I was telling you before this, I had my wife with me, right? She was my girlfriend by then. So we've been together since 2017. So as I was trading now, I don't have anything. There's no lunch money coming from my mother. So it's not like I can't deposit that money. So, and then it got to a point where I was staying with a good friend of mine, and we're just staying there. And I had a big fight with my mother. So I was not at home. We had blocked each other. She had blocked me. Almost for 6 months we didn't talk, right? Sure. So there was no money coming in. It was only just this friend who was working, but was helping me a bit. That's when we started Real Wealth Capital. Okay, so you'd help me a bit then. Then my wife would give me half of her lunch money, like 500. So they will give her all of it for like 1 month, 1,000 to say, this is your lunch money. She would take half of that, give me.
Yeah.
And every time I would blow it.
There's definitely a real one right there.
Yeah, so every time I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to trade NFP. I'm going to double this and then we're going to go on a date. Everything is going to be nice. Yeah. And then she'll call after school. So what's up? Like, ish. That money went within a split second.
Yeah.
It was very heartbreaking to her and myself, but with trusted that process, you know, because I've always said this to people, right? In everything that you want, there is a procedure and a process to it. And that process, that is what God uses to kind of create what you ask for. So if you're gonna pray for something, after that, prepare yourself for a process that you will go through. That is almost like you're gonna struggle a bit, but that is how God will build you up and mold you to exactly what you ask for. Because most of the time we want to be millionaires, but we don't realize it's not about how hard you can push, but the character that you will have to maintain being a millionaire. So character doesn't not just come overnight. It comes through a series of trials. So I believe through those times from after I left that guy, it was now my time to actually see how I can make this money, developing that character to sustain me, to be a millionaire, to be a trader, to be an entrepreneur. So yeah, that is what, you know, she would encourage me, or we encourage each other. No, you will make it, don't worry. And she would always tell me this code to say, you know, when it comes to light bulbs, they had to do it 100 times. And on the 100th time, they actually got it right. So you would always encourage me. I blow. I'm counting.
Yeah, but like at this point right now, okay, so you're getting money, you're blowing.
Yeah.
You know, I want to understand, you know what?
The prophetic Forex, right?
No, not prophetic Forex. Yeah, we'll get to that. I just want to understand that how can I want to say this in English. Nqobile, in other words. What was your education background at this point with regards to Forex? What had you learned at this point?
Okay.
What methods were you using?
Okay. I was using a mix of trading methods, right? So when I was taught by that brother there, initially he had taught me supply and demand together with flags, you know, wedges, all of this stuff, and I was trying to use them, trend lines, everything like that. So that's how I was trading back then. Then I would put some EMAs, the 200 EMA, the 100 EMA, trying to actually see the trends. So it would work there and there, right? And I would be so good at it. But it's almost like every time I'm good at it, it's on a demo, not on a real. Like, why can't I just transfer the same skill to trading real funds where I can actually make serious amount of money? So that was the background that I had. And then I think I came across, as I was telling you, Rocks FX. That's when I began to have a bit of a very stable trading to my side, where break and retest, structure trading. I was like, oh, this makes sense. So all of the flags went away, all of the trend lines went away, and I was just using naked chart analysis. Okay. So that's when I started to see a bit of progress. Then after that gap year, I went to college and I was doing engineering. So I was getting some NASFAS. Yes. So then that's when now things started going up, you know. So I would now take that money, 1,000 yana, and now I was more interested as well in trading events. You know, back then, coach, 1 minute strategy. But now I was not pleased with it because brokers would open your buy stop and your sell stop. So what it ended up happening, I would try by all means to kind of try to master market direction. So there were many ways we would do it. You open 2 accounts, you buy the site, you sell the site. And I was like, but when I would think about it, I'm like, no man, this does not make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it would work because I would lose the whole, let's say I would fund 500, I would lose 500, but I would make 3,000. Okay. So that's how I would start to see progress now, you know, making within the thousands, you know. And then I was getting excited. We're now living comfortably. I was in town, you know, it was all nice. So, but I was not in town right here. I was actually in Brett's. So it was very quiet in place.
so
There's no traders. So no one knew me. No classmate of mine saw me because they probably thought after matric I'm rich. You understand? So there was no pressure for me to kind of really start to impress.
I was expectations.
Yeah, I was quite chilled. I would now start sending my mother money. I'll send my then my girlfriend money. So she had invested. Now she's getting now she's getting those dividends back.
Yes.
And we're quite enjoying life for almost a year. Then in that year, I think it was now towards lockdown, or 2019. Then towards lockdown, there we actually towards that we actually stayed together for a while. But her parents didn't know this, right? So for a month, and she had lied to the other parents. She's there, and we'd stayed together, and that's when we actually saw how it is to live with one another. And also, there is a very big part of my trading on trusting God, right? So you would say, what did I trust apart from trading? Trusting God to actually take me to that level that He had shown me, that I'll not, when I preach, when I motivate, I won't be asking people, trying to stir up the Bible to kind of bring all of that money. So I was trusting Him for that financial freedom, if I would say. So through that, there was one time, in fact, just before I actually went to college, something, even to this day, I feel like it was weird, right? It was a Sunday, and then I was like praying. So I would take 1 hour, I would go to the garage and just pray. And I just had this voice, take out your phone. So I could trade by then. Take out your phone, buy gold, buy USD, and I would just buy random according to that voice. Okay, so it was fine. It was Sunday, and then the very Monday, Gamata, right there, I woke up and did exactly as that voice told me, and I slept. When I woke up, everything was in profit. I was like, oh, this is weird, right? Oh, I was shocked, and that's when kind of like I think the prophetic Forex or prophetic trading came about. It was like, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna try to listen to God's voice to get that overall direction. And I started doing that with news trading, and I would hear and say buy. But I was like, but this is not good, because now my face would shake. Doesn't feel possible that I just hear something and buy.
Yeah.
So, okay, God, give me something that I can work with that makes sense to my mind, so I shouldn't be challenged every time. Then there's some good trading methods that I would develop. Even the easiest thing when I teach people, they say, oh, this, and even though it was not as perfect, I would be a billionaire right now if that's the case, right? But it gave me a very good win rate when it came to news.
Okay.
I would go, let's say, 12 months trading NFP, and I would only lose 2 to 3 times. And the rest of the months I'm winning. So I was like, oh, this is good. And till this day, that's what I began to use. So that's where the actual name Prophetic Forex started to come. Then, of course, when it came to the logo, the eagle, each and every time it was just me alone, or either me and my wife. So I felt like I'm just alone, but I'm flying. When we're talking about eagles, they fly above the clouds,
yes,
not with other birds. So I felt like I'm flying above other birds. Not to say I was higher than any other trader, but I felt like being alone like that, I'm just an eagle. And also this goes with my style of trading. So, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I have one question. Okay,
yeah.
So you were saying that you were hearing something that's telling you without analyzing or anything, you just go open a chart.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would tend to say is that there's also somebody across the world right now that, let's say God is also telling you, go sell that. He's telling you the side, buy that. What would you say towards that?
Okay. When it comes to the prophetic, right, everyone has it. Even you, anyone has it. Even everybody that's watching us. It's called intuition, right?
Okay.
So God has given us that with everything, every decision making, there is that inner voice that will tell us.
Yeah.
And the more you practice, it's almost like you're building that muscle to make it sharper. Yeah. So anyone, anytime can be like, I'm buying, or I feel like it's a buy, and you buy.
Yeah.
So we passed that dimension of feeling to training it again and again. So I would do this with cuts, I would do this with calls, where I would just have my phone, I'm like, okay, and it will ring, I'm like, this is Neo, and very it will be that person.
Yeah.
So I would begin to train it more often, and that's what it will differentiate between the other person outside there who just guesses. Because there's what we call prophet guessing. I mean, there are big names that have done this within the church space.
Yeah.
You're like, you have a fridge. Yes, the person is a fridge. I mean, this week I can see that you just ate pap. Of course, they're black, they're African. Most likely they've ate pap. So that's prophet guessing. Okay. So, but it goes to where you trust God, right? To say, okay, Lord, I trust you with what I have in terms of trading. Please amplify it to kind of guide me in line with my intuition. Use that point. So it will definitely be like, because when it comes to trading, it's almost like everyone has to forecast or prophesy it in a way. Each and every time when you're about to sell or buy, whatever analysis you're going to be using at that point, you almost have to prophesy it and say, okay, I see a sell based on this, but there's no certainly there's no guarantee that it's actually going to sell. So sometimes you have to go beyond yourself and say, I trust something within me that it's going to push, and I know definitely based on that training it's going to go in this direction. So that's what I done when it comes to trading. I would mix that voice, if that makes sense. That voice, that inner conscious, because people can call it many names.
There's definitely 100% different forms of what you're speaking to about right now. You understand?
So somebody would say it's my conscious, somebody would say it's my instinct, somebody would say it's my
gut feeling.
So, but it doesn't stop with just you gut feeling. You must make it in line with your trading. To say, if I've seen the market, it will touch this supply. I've seen it 100 times. Therefore, it goes within your subconscious. It's almost like you're tricking your mind to kind of be in line with that conscious, that gut. So that every time you actually execute the trade, you are certainly not right for sure, but you're certainly confident enough that it's gonna go in your expected price. So because that's what I talk about. I talk about market biofeedback, right? I'd actually picked this up from a book called Naked Trading, right at the end, where they're talking about market biofeedback. There's the professional way of doing it, where they'll attach this sensors on you, and as you trade, they will see how you behave during that whole process. And I started to kind of train myself, but in a more manual way, right? Where I'll take 100 trades, and this 100 trades I'll use a very good trading method that I picked up from whoever, or I have developed it through my edge. And through that, I would also try to listen to that inner voice if they align. So I'll be like, okay, this says sell, what are you saying? If it's saying sell, then I take both of them. And I would just measure it, okay? So out of 80 trades, there were sell, and I got it right. Out of 20, it said sell, said buy, which one got it right? So through that, that's what we call market biofeedback.
All right. All right, that's great. So in preparation of this interview, I had some time to just go over, because you're on YouTube actually. You're not just a trader, but you provide a lot of YouTube content for people to watch and engage with, as well as that. And I realized something is that I want to ask about time frames right now, which is what I want to talk about, because I think at some point right now, just because the market is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, some markets are open 7 days a week, it's also a matter of like, some people tend to neglect the fact that, time frames, are time frames still a factor towards people's trading?
Yeah, definitely. There's something that I just like to say to people. If you're not intentional about something, everything will catch your attention. So when we're speaking about time frame trading, a very good trader, Larry Williams, that trained ICT, right? He was talking about condition trading, and since then, I picked it up. Condition trading. It's basically where you identify the time frames that you trade daily, and it also goes to being a trade specialist. So you will be trading Nasdaq. So if you have gone through my content, mostly it's just Nasdaq. So it's Nasdaq. I trade about 2 to 3 time frames at a certain time of the day. So like London, I traded at this time, I trade Nasdaq. So that's what we call condition trading. So whereby you almost look for, I'm gonna say potholes, or rather times where you know there's injection of momentum. Other traders, they would want to look for the market ranging. Other traders, they just want to look for trending markets. I look for the injection of momentum to say when it just hits my take profit either within the next 10 minutes or even 30 minutes max. I know within that time, that's what exactly happens. So I'm very big on time frames, and not just time frames from 1 minute to hourly. It's just time frames in terms of what time of the day have you identified what really takes place consistently in the market, and you take advantage of that. So in fact, that even sums up how I just trade, right? I look for a time in a day, and I've tracked it, because I am also all about tracking. There's some traders, as we're talking about SA traders and traders outside of SA, Africa, UK, and all of that. I have picked up something, right? Here we're all about what makes money quicker. There they're all about tracking what is best to make money in a long time consistently. So I began to also be like that when it came to condition trading. So I would look at time frames or times in days where I would see a lot of the very same thing happening. Or in fact, let's take DEX. Everybody knows around 9 a.m. DEX starts to become volatile. If a trader were to be trading DEX every day at 9 and they're trading the very same thing over and over, they would be consistently making income, right? I am also in the prop trading space. So, and I'd learned a very few things as I got in. Condition trading alongside with prop trading can really take one to the next level. Unlike what we try to do here, you take your last 10K and it's like, bah, full margin. And it's almost like you're gambling. But in there, I started to pick up, they do 1% or 2%, and you trade the very same thing. So that's what I started to do. And I saw life really getting much better. Not at the speed that it's displayed among the culture of trading among here, right? But at the speed that is maintainable to like I'm growing gradually. So definitely time frames really are very much important when it comes to being a trader.
Still on time frames. So obviously time frames are very important, but like over the past years, a couple of years, obviously there's been this big boom of 330 Nasdaq, 330 Nasdaq. So can you just give us a breakdown of like why 330 Nasdaq? Obviously it's good. I want you to explain it to us and give us a breakdown.
So when it comes to the 330 Nasdaq, right, or we would say 930 EST, right? So this is where we have the New York Stock Exchange opening bell when it rang. And when it rang, whatever that has the US dollar, so be it gold, be it Nasdaq, be it US 30, they have a lot of injection of speed coming in at that moment. So it can move almost 100 pips, or I mean, it moves that thing, right? So, but most people don't actually notice. It's not every day that you must trade it, because within an injection, right, there's always where it kind of really wants to create that volatility. So there's some traders that are part of it, where it will actually take your money, so take you out and then create it. So sometimes it tends to be delayed. So, but that's what we call the New York Stock Exchange opening bell. So that's why it's a hype, because you can be trading once in a day and still make enough than a trader who's sitting the whole day on their screen trying to trade. So it's quite good, but at the same time, you can actually lose a lot of money.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And talking about losing money, what are some of the most the keys to making? I know right now we're here in Forex. Obviously, you buy low, sell high. That's how you make money. But like essentially, that's how you make money on the charts. But what I'm the place from which I'm asking for is like, how do you actually make money from trading? You know, making sure that money comes to your pocket, right? Now, as much as we can trade, make money on the charts, but essentially, as human beings, as people, we need to make money. So, like, what are some of the keys for people to making money from trading?
Okay. I'm going to break it down within a professional way in terms of a beginner watching this, and I'm going to break it down from a personal side, right? So this is a very good conversation, because I was also talking to my cousins this past weekend and say, how do you actually make money in trading? And I would say trading, it's all about supply and demand. Because if two currencies are just challenging each other, which one appreciating value and which one goes down, right? You would want to measure the demand and supply of each currency. And of course, we don't have to go into the nitty-gritties of that. We can just go on the chart and actually it's displayed. So the best way to actually make money is to identify wherever there is a demand, which is a bullish market, wherever there is a supply, which is a bearish market. And within that, we have areas, as you were saying, lows and highs that the market will, eventually come back to, and we can now have you entering that based on a hypothesis that you have proven over time. Right? So that's the professional way that you would do it. And the best way someone just explained to me, right? It's almost like whenever you're trading, just imagine the market like this. It's almost like it's a tennis ball that is in a room. And as you throw it up, it just meets the ceiling, it will come back down. As you throw it down, it will bounce off the floor and go back up. So these areas of supply and demand act as if that it can never go up. It will have to come back down because there's something that's pushing it down, and it will forever meet something that will push it up. So through, just that is the basic, way of understanding trading that can really make, make ones that, making money.
Yes.
On a personal, place, I had started making money when it came to prop firms. Okay, so most people here, they want to fund with brokers, and I'm not against brokers, right? They're still good, but it's it's almost like you're taking the long way into making money, right? So personally, what I began to do around about 2021, there was someone that was training, and he said, I just made 40,000 pounds. No, man. 40,000 pounds. How did you do this? Are you rich or anything? Like, no, prop firms are there, and I just bought an account, and I just did what you taught me, and that's how I just made 40,000 pounds within a month. I was like, okay, plug me on this. And you showed me, FTMO, you showed me Smart Prop Trader, and that's how I also began to now trading this. So how I started making money, I've also lost a lot of money trading prop firms as well, right? So, but I started trading the 10K account, and through that I would make at least 5%, 10% if I'm really being aggressive. 5%, that was the actual target that I will hit, half of it. And then I would, from then on, so rather a guideline, because I feel like you're almost asking a guideline, how does one actually make money? So the best way that you can do it is to either get a 5K account, right? Trade that, make profits, purchase a bigger account. Let's say a 50K account or a 100K account. Then from then on, those profits you make, you can push to make either 5% or even 2% of a 100K. Then you're actually making good amounts of money here when it comes to our country. I mean, 2% of 100K is actually like 2,000 US dollars, which is 40,000 here. So you're making as much as a doctor would make in a month. So that's the best way one can actually start making money. And that's how I just make my money from trading. So I just target the minimum percentage, 1 or 2%, I'm done for the day
Yeah.
or I'm done for that month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's great. So essentially, I've heard a lot of people, they say market structure this, market structure that, market structure all that. But can you just give us like a breakdown of markets? What is the market structure exactly? Can you break it down for somebody who's watching who's like curious? It's okay. People always say market structure, but what is this exactly?
Yeah, so most traders look for those two types of markets, bullish and bearish. And within that, we do have a consistent market structure with, when we talk about bullish, we talk about higher highs and higher lows. And when we talk about downtrend, we talk about lower lows and lower highs. So basically, as the fundamental basic thing when we are trading is we want to buy low and sell high. So this gives us a more of a guideline to actually catch those entries. When you're in an uptrend, you want to buy at a higher low, right? Because that's when price is low. And when you're in a downtrend, you want to sell at a lower high because that's when price is a bit high in a downtrend. So the best thing that we actually do, even when I trade, is what we call trade with the trend. I'm big on trading with the trend because that's the easiest thing. It's almost like it's easier to tell where the train is going in the direction, right? So the very best thing is to want to trade with the market. This is actually called least resistance, where you are more likely to be accurate and right when you're trading with the trend rather than against the trend. So the better way or the best way is to look for opportunities based on market structure. That's why every trader is big on identifying that structure, because it does help you. And there are many ways to take those entries on those higher lows or those lower highs, right? There are many ways, and the best, or not the best way, because people will just kill me for this, but one of the most famous ways, because of it's quite famous right now, supply and demand is the best way to kind of really take entries, because you would pick point and say this is the higher low that once took place. When the market comes back to it, it's most likely that it's gonna use that at its next level to actually go up. And the very same way again when we're talking about downtrends. So yeah, that is what we're talking about when we're talking about market structure, is identifying the flow of the market. So some traders will call it order flow. Okay, so where we'll see, okay, it's an uptrend and we are talking about higher lows and higher highs. So it's called order flow as well. Yeah.
All right. And then what is break of structure then? What happens when the structure breaks?
So when we're talking about break of structure, we're talking about the market breaking higher highs and lower lows in the market, right? So these are points where if you are analyzing a bullish market and the market is going in an uptrend, it will create higher highs to indicate that we're now in an uptrend, and to actually break them is the what I will call the validation of that trend. So I would always say to my people, right, when the market breaks a higher high, it's to validate that we're going higher. If it does not break it, that means it now turns into a point where it's stopping it, and now we can look forward to a bearish market. So it's very much important when you're trading structure to look for those points of breaking those higher highs or breaking those lower lows, because it validates the trend that you're in. It makes it make sense. It gives you the confidence that you're still in the position of selling or buying. Yeah.
All right. And then what is a liquidity grab?
Liquidity.
Because the thing is, I'm not. Here's the thing. I don't have follow-up questions, because already what you're breaking you're breaking down already is just like, okay, no, straightforward, So
okay.
Yeah, but like right now, hence I'm just moving on one to the next, because like I'm like, hey, okay, he said what he had to say.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what is a liquidity grab?
Okay. So when we're talking about that, It's basically 2 points, so it can be 1 point or 2 points in the markets. For example, where the market can take higher highs and use it. So it's almost like two styles of trading. Where people would say smart money traders versus retail concepts, where when we know there's double tops and double bottoms. So when the market mostly, when I would trade double bottoms and double tops, I would find myself in a sell and I'm in profit, or buy, I'm in profit, and then suddenly the market will stop me out and still go in my anticipated direction, for example. So that's what we call liquidity sweep, or that point, right? So it takes 2 points, equal points most of the time, and basically we know that there are buy stops, sell stops, and it will trigger them and then go in the direction that is anticipated.
Yeah. But when you say going into the direction of the anticipated, is it are we just referring to the market doing that, or what?
For example, let's just talking about buys, right? So for example, let's say we have higher highs, higher low, okay, and the market breaks structure, higher highs. And when it comes back to the higher low, most people, again, it coming back for the second time, they want to buy exactly there at the higher low because it's the second touch. So what ends up happening is that it will give them that that impression that we're now buying here, right? So you buy, most people are putting buy stops. Then what ends up happening, it just moves a bit and suddenly moves in the opposite direction of your entry. And it moves about 3 candles up and then 3 candles down and then buys afterwards. So it almost like it stops you out, and that is what we're talking about, where it grabs that whole liquidity. Because when we're talking about liquidity, right, we're talking about orders in the market, we're talking about contracts in the market. So the more contracts, the more it wants to grab that. So I would say to people, where it looks too obvious, that's where they want to take that point. So where most people are buying right there, that's where you know, okay, I'm not going to buy. And this happens a lot at 3:30, where you know most people are seeing sells. I would wait when most people see sells. There's something wrong. Or where most people see the very same direction, the market is going to do the opposite, because they very much know that, okay, most people are going to start buying or selling at that point. They want to do something to disrupt that whole thing, to create more momentum for it to push in the anticipated direction. So you would see sells, but it will stop you out and continue selling. You would see buys, it will stop you out and continue buying. So it basically does that to sort of give it more push to the direction that you had expected.
Okay, now that's great. You know, you spoke about something about, you know, when a lot of people tend to find themselves like buying. You know, when you see like a textbook pattern, like something's like a perfect thing. And, you know, for some people, essentially it does work out for them. And then you find themselves, you know, buying.
Yeah. So the thing is, when we are talking about that, we don't mean that it does not work at all, right? But when I would trade this, or rather most people would also attest to this fact that when they would trade double tops and double bottoms, it will work out, let's say 40% of the time, and 60% of the time you're getting stopped out. But you'll be like, I got the direction right, but it just came back and stopped me out, and it continued. So I would find myself saying that a lot, man. I'd lost about 200,000, right? In 20,000 US dollars, 200,000 rands, with the very same concept that we are talking about, where I was on DEX, I got the direction right, man, it was right. I got that sell right. And what the market did, it just went up just a bit, just with one candle, then started coming back down, and it went all the way down. So it basically hit my SL, and then afterwards it went in my anticipated direction. So that's what we mean by it grabbing that. So it's not a miss of direction where you've lost the trade entirely. So yes, it has hit your SL, but the prediction was right.
I see. And then when you find yourself making lots and lots of money, so you did a video, and it was so interesting. It's talking about dopamine. The dopamine detox, and I think That's what a lot of people. I think today, guys, really, this one's for you guys, right here. For those who haven't seen the video, because like it was so powerful. Because I'm just like I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, okay, actually, no. But and as much as a lot of you guys know that, obviously, when you win. You know, it's nice. Winning is an amazing feeling. You know, nothing beats. You know, winning, being a winner, feeling like a winner, you know, but obviously there are psychological impacts of that. So I want us just to talk about the dopamine effect right now that comes from trading.
Definitely. There's a lot of dopamine effect because this is a neurotransmitting hormone, right, that we have as human beings that really gives us the sense of pleasure, as I said, sense of pleasure. Anything that gives you pleasure, dopamine will want more. So if you eat chocolate right now for the very first time and it feels good to eat it, it will want that urge to want to eat it again. That's dopamine. And the more you eat it, the more it actually makes it more toxic, because it's going to make you now want that. And your body, and of course you start gaining weight, right? So it does not care about whether it's good or bad. It cares about the feeling. So the very same thing when we talk about trading, it does not care whether you're going to lose money or make money. It only cares about getting that sense of, you know, feeling to say, oh wow, I'm making money here. So what ends up happening is, you know, there's a thing to say, if you have doubled your trading account, you're most likely the next time to actually lose it, because your dopamine is so up there that you want to do it again and you forget common sense out of all of that. So dopamine, that's what it does when, as a trader, is that we get a very small reward. You make $100 within a minute. Then you now see people changing their names to news trader because you did it once and now you think, I'm going to do it over and over. Dopamine has made him change his name to, I'm the professional news trader. I'm going to do it over and over and over again. And they end up losing a lot of money because this overclouds their judgment being a trader. Because the main thing, yes, dopamine, it can be good. It can leave you pumped up. It can leave you really, really motivated, right? But at the same time, you want to approach trading with a more rational and calculated mindset. So yeah, that's dopamine. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but what can I say?
No, because like it's actually quite a powerful thing. Because like essentially, like you said right now, you know, you as a trader, you go in there, you double your account, you know, essentially you're going to want to do the exact same thing. And it goes back to what essentially risk management, money management all comes into words, because essentially I don't know if we are paying attention, but like what I'm understanding right now, I just want to break it down a little bit, because I really like enjoyed this. You understand right now, say you have $1,000 account and you go, you make it $2,000.
And now you're pumped up, man, you're so motivated. And I mean, when that happens, I mean, you can't wait for the next day or for the next opportunity to happen. And what ends up happening, you forget the risk management. There's opportunities in the market that we can call luck. Everyone has those opportunities where you were lucky that you made. It was a gamble when you were risking it all and you made it, but does not mean that it's going to happen consistently. Right, so dopamine overclouds your mind totally, and you're so excited, you're so, you know, I mean, you're so happy. You do the very same thing, guru, you've lost it ever. So that's dopamine. Dopamine also goes with social media, right, where we are, you know, after trading, right, you have made $50, that's fine, you chilled, and you're going through your Instagram, YouTube, you're seeing all of these guys having cars, having all of that, and that will increase your dopamine. Right? So there's a very thin line between being inspired and having your dopamine spiked up to an unrealistic perspective about life. So now it kind of makes you feel like you have not achieved as much. So it will spike it up and like, I can make it. And then when you try it, you find yourself every time you trade, you are demotivated. So that means you're now having a very toxic, dopamine, right? So what most people need to do when it comes to that is cut down on the social media part, right? Cut down on just allowing your money to actually get to your head. Because most of the time, right, I want to become a millionaire.
Yes.
And making that 1,000 and doubling it doesn't mean that I've arrived. So most traders, when we see a bit of success, we're thinking we've already arrived. And that is not that point, right? It's almost like I'm seeing a board that says Sentin. I have not arrived to Sentin. It's showing me that it's signs that I am now arriving to my point and goal of getting to where I want to be. So the very same thing as you're trading, you can have opportunities of being a good trader and you double it. But does that mean that you have arrived? So many of the times we feel like we're the big boss and we want to do it over and over, and we fall into losing everything.
Yeah, exactly. And like this is where risk management tends to play very. Because like going back to $1,000 account, because like once you double an account, now your dopamine level it's where it shouldn't be. Whereas when you're trading carefully with proper risk management, your dopamine level kind of is also like maintained
at that level.
You know, it's controlled at a specific level. It's when we let it go out of control. Guys.
You know, that's why I just go back into condition trading, right? Because it's very much important. And I would always say to people, a lot of traders trade like headless chickens with no direction. So they have the right speed, doubling accounts, but without direction, it is useless. So it's very much important that we can actually know what we are as traders. Am I a swing trader or a news trader? That was what I was actually, trying to find out earlier. So how do you guys trade? And he said once a month. I was like, maybe he's a swing trader, right? So it's very much important to have identity, because that will protect you against, toxic dopamine, as well as losing everything in terms of risk management overall. Is that you want to take it step by step, because easy get, easy lose. So if you get it easily, it's most likely that you cannot maintain it. So it's all about trusting the process. And I mean, as I was telling you, I would make 1 or 2% in a month on my 100K account, and I'm good, right? But doesn't mean that that's where I want to be. I am just maintaining the standard until I'm comfortable with everything around me. Everything is, and then I will take it the next level and say, I'm now aiming for 5% or 6% per month. And eventually I would just find myself making 6 figures in a month alone just from trading, because I've maintained. But most people want to take a big step. They're here and they want to go to 6 figures already within 1 month. It's supposed to be progressive as a trader, but dopamine fools you. Because it feels like, oh my God, you're about to achieve it. You can achieve it. Beast mode, right? Everybody talks about beast mode, but they don't talk about the eagle mode. I have it, right? Eagle, when it hunts, it does not go beast mode like any animal in the jungle. They're more aggressive. They chase after things. But when you're on an eagle mode, what it does, of course, it flies from high and it circles around its prey. It takes time, confuses it. It will circle and make the prey feel like there's nothing that's going to take me. And suddenly, it just takes it. So it's very patient and precise with its attack. And most people don't understand that it's not always beast mode. You must be precise, patient with your attack, even when it comes to trading. Be patient in the market. Don't rush anywhere. I mean, you would see traders go any place and they'll open it and they are rushing into analyzing. Yes, you want to impress us that you're a trader, but does not mean that you should not do the. Take it easy, be precise and patient, and aim directly with a sniper entry on your trade. So dopamine does play a very big part. A lot of traders have a lot of dopamine with them that they have not really dealt with. They have not, it basically handles them instead of them handling it. So by the time we get to handle dopamine right, we know for sure that when I'm excited, be excited. It's natural to be excited for you take profit, but calm down and be very precise and calculated with your next entry. Because doesn't mean that if I am fed today, basically most people allow the success of yesterday to control the success of tomorrow. And what ends up happening, they become too full of themselves and they forget the steps that they took to where they are right now. So they end up jumping steps and they trip. So that's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all heard it for yourself right here. So you spoke about sniper entries. I think this is the last one before we close off. But like sniper entries, how does one essentially? Because right now we were just talking right now. You mentioned sniper entries. How does one essentially get to a point where, because I think that's what everyone is chasing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to get that sniper entry.
Yeah.
Want to find it there at that tip, you know? Yeah, so how does one actually like practice? What practice goes into actually getting to that point of, being able to
sniper entry?
Yeah.
I do absolutely love that question, right? To be a good trader or to be a better trader with your own trading edge of sniper entries, you must really practice it. It does not come overnight. So that's where I can go back to say market by your feedback. Take 100 trades. I can challenge every beginner right now. Take 100 trades. Don't be afraid to make any type of trading mistake or whatsoever. Use that trading method to identify one trading method that you trust, whether it be smart money, whether it be trends and trends, whether it be flags, patterns, whatever that you use. Go and backtest it thoroughly and forward test it thoroughly as well. That will now develop an edge. I would explain edges when it comes to speakers, we'll all know that, let's say, for example, TD Jakes speaks in a different way that when people are just hearing him, they know this is the way he speaks. It's almost like as well, there's Cristiano Ronaldo, there is a certain way he kicks the ball. That's his edge, right? So it's all about finding your edge, finding your flavor, finding your style as a trader that will allow you to start unlocking those sniper entries. So you don't just happen accidental, right? You must practice them over time. So the best way is to find an exact method that you're well acquainted with, that you trust. Know it very well. And when you apply it on the markets, it's not accidental, it's intentional. So you know exactly where you're going to enter. It is precise again. So if I'm going to enter one time a day, I know the low, I know the high. I know for sure that if it does this 80% of the time, I'll be getting sniper entries.
Yeah.
So that's how you can get,
right. No, that's great. So I want to ask this. Okay, what has been your best trading moments that you've had across your trading career to date? Like the best trade, you can call it your best trade or your best
moment.
Best trading moments. Best day.
Okay, so it was actually this year. In fact, I had made 44,000 right on a prop firm.
Okay.
So it was unbelievable, but it was unbelievable, and I actually took a very big gamble. So I bought 2 accounts, it's fine, and I was willing to lose this account, right? So I passed it nicely. Okay, I passed the first phase, second phase, and now I'm like, I'm gonna go big on this one. So since I had lost like 20,000 last year, and I was trying to do the very same thing now. I had lost 20K, and that was the only account that I had, and I gotten depressed. But the best moment was actually this year, I think Feb, where I had actually made that amount of money. So I was trading CPI, and I was able to take advantage of it. And I mean, the dopamine at that level was skyrocketing. It was up there. I mean, when it hit, take profit, I was jumping. I was jumping in my office. I was praising God, because each and every time when that happens, it's almost like I do not give myself glory. I'm like, I'm the big boss. I'm almost like, yes, I can, celebrate and say, yes, I've made it. But I quickly go back down as a preacher, as a minister, and say, Lord, thank you for this opportunity. So that is the best time ever. That has allowed me even to come back from that loss that I'd actually lost 20K. So 44,000 pounds, that's what I made.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So on the other side of it, wait, before I actually go to the other side of it, so So you made this amount of money. Why did you follow your trading plan?
No, I didn't. Nah. No, I did follow my trading plan, but not my risk management plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because I do trade CPI, I do trade NFP.
Yeah.
So it's within my trading plan. But in terms of risk management, I broke all the rules in the book. I mean, I was supposed to risk 2%.
Yeah.
I mean, that was probably more than 50% of that account.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went in and until they told me you cannot enter trades anymore. Yeah. No trade, no balance. Yeah, that's what it says. Go, you know that sound. Go, and I said. I was sitting, sweating.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I was so scared, bro, because I'd also given the trade to other people and say, man, it's gonna buy. So I was sitting, and the moment it went into profit, everything just went blue. I said, oh Lord, I'm never doing this again. But that was the dopamine. But because I can handle it as well, I didn't try to do it again. Okay. It's something that I just try to do once in a year. So I tried it and I failed totally. I lost the whole 20K and the whole 200,000 of that funded account that I worked hard for. So this time it actually paid off. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Nah, that is good. I had to ask that because essentially, a lot of people have a lot of good days on the market.
Yeah.
And you find that usually those good days are usually the ones where rules are broken.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all about when you have wins, go in a bit more. When you have losses, learn to
keep your losses
small and cut it very quickly. Yeah. So that's what I do. If it was a loss, I was gonna cut it really quickly. If it's a win, and I know for sure. There's a good friend of mine who said, greed is not entirely wrong.
Okay.
Unless, I mean, it's not wrong when you have the right direction. It's not wrong. So I had all the confirmation. I know this sounds bizarre, but greed is not wrong when you have the right direction. It's crazy. I'm gonna get
That's hectic.
crucified for that. But greed is not wrong when you have the right direction. So you must. And again, this goes back to market biofeedback. I have traded CPI since 2017.
Okay.
So I know what it does. Season in and season out. I know times where CPI is gonna spike. I know this month I must just wait for it to spike and then I will enter the trade. This month I know I'm gonna get a very smooth movement. Some months I know there's gonna be a whipsaw. So most traders, when it comes to news, they just trade everything. They can't detect whether there's gonna be a whipsaw, whether there's gonna be a spike that's gonna happen. So they enter full margin. Again, it takes them out and goes in their direction. So I was able throughout. It's not like prophetic, as in like I prayed and then overnight I just got that. It's almost like it was intentional success over time where I would practice. And I'll practice again with real money and lose with real money. But this time it actually gets to pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Nah, that's great. So on the other side of it, what has been your worst trading day?
Yeah. That 20K that I lost.
Okay. Yeah.
It was DEX. And I was sitting, okay, I just woke up, 2 hours ago, just had a nice breakfast, everything is going well. And I go in regular, I'm analyzing, and then this time, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. Okay, so I built up that 200, so it was on 220,000. So I built it up 2%. I was good. It was almost payday because they would pay you month end. So I was left with 3 days.
Okay.
To my withdrawal.
This is on a prop firm account.
Yes, so I was going to withdraw 20K, but I became greedy.
Okay.
Right? Again, probably because I didn't get the direction right. So I confirmed with about 3 of my friends and said, okay, man, we're seeing DEX, it's going to sell. Okay, man, it's a sell. I definitely see a sell. Let's go in. Hey. I went in 50 lots on that. 50 lots. Yeah. And everything just, I just lost it all. And I sat down in my office, it was quiet, and I said, is everything fine? Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Yeah. And that day, I in fact, it was the whole month. I took the the whole month of trading, because it's very much important. Yes, there are days where it's going to become the worst, but if you do not allow yourself to take the loss and recompose yourself, you're gonna get into a losing streak, basically. So when you lose something, it's very much important. Take a step back. Calm yourself down, play PlayStation, watch, exercise, whatever the case may be, and then you will come back once you're ready to say, okay, now I'm ready. I'm not gonna attempt that. That was suicide. So that's what actually really happened at that time. That was the worst day. Yeah. It was April.
Yeah.
This has buried me. Good Friday.
So my question is, what was the lesson you took from that whole experience?
Okay, definitely I shouldn't be greedy. But you see how it actually differs between then and now. This time I was ready to lose the money. So I would always say to people, do not risk more than you can afford to lose. So back then I could not afford to lose that. That was supposed to be something that I had to get for that month to actually take care of school fees, money for my child, this and this household. So, and I risked it all. So that was something that I should not do that again. I should have at least 3 accounts that I can trade. I know this one, it's for the cards, for the rent, it's for this. So that one was for everything. So I had to depend on some YouTube money and all of that to kind of balance everything. It was rough that month. So, but what I'd learned from them: do not risk money that you can afford, that you cannot afford to lose. So I've had people come to me, man, I've lost my loan money. I've lost my retirement. Man, I said, you lost all of it. No, it does not make sense. So money like that, you cannot trade with it, because already, even if you're not gonna lose it, it's gonna be a very difficult trade. Every time you're gonna put in a buy or sell, you're gonna be sweating your pants off. So it's very much important that it's money that you are probably gonna buy yourself a sneaker or some McD with. Trade with that money, because it's not as important, even though yes, you do cherish it and you want it to make money for you, but trade with money that you can afford to lose. So that's what I would go with each and every time, even though I'd known that fact before that. But even if, yes, as traders, 7 years or 6 years now with trading, I still break rules then and there. But every time I'll keep on telling myself, no, calm down, do not trade with money that, I'm a father, I'm a husband, so I cannot. I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Yeah,
so definitely.
That's the beauty about being a human, where we're constantly progressing, we're constantly learning. We may fall here and there, but I think that's just human nature. We just it's all about learning at the end of the day.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
No, thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much.
I'm sitting down, guys, of Mr. Prophetic Forex in the building. No, thank you so much. I've taken so much from a lot of things you said. I'm feeling hyped up. I'm feeling a dopamine right now.
Definitely.
So just before I let you go, just any piece of advice that you might have for people out there, just anyone, whether it be a new person within trying to get into trading. Right there.
I would say trust the process. When it comes to trading, many of us think it's going to be an overnight thing, but you want to trust the process, because that process, that's where God molds you to be the person and to have the character and the mindset to what you have asked for and what you're doing when it comes to trading. Because, when we get into trading, we want a lot of money, but we don't have the mental capacity to welcome that amount of money. So whenever you're going through this struggle and pain of blowing accounts, trust the process. Yes, approach with wisdom a bit. Don't just blow your last money, as I said, but trust the process within the steps. It's actually progress. There's nothing like failure. There was something that I watched, and this guy was like, so since you have not gotten this, do you call it a failure? I said, there's nothing like failure. If you are employed and you don't get promoted that year, doesn't mean you've failed. You have progressed and become a better person. So doesn't mean that you have not gotten to where you want to be in life as a trader. Doesn't mean that you're failed, but it's simply progress. Those small steps add up to become big, steps that can put you where you want to be in life. So yeah, that's my advice. Trust the process, never call yourself a failure, and definitely enjoy the process. Yeah.
No, perfect. No, thank you so much for coming out here today and shooting this interview. And thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure.
It's an honor.
All right, guys, it's Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and I brought you guys another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most talented and prominent individuals in the game, and I got to sit down with Emmanuel today, aka also known as Prophetic Forex. Please go find him. We'll leave all these details on the screen in the description below. Prophetic Forex also on YouTube as well for really, really great content, guys. And guys, thank you so much to XM.com for sponsoring this episode as well. And thank you. And we out. Thank you so much.